On the helium issue, helium is used in many things. By the way, the shortage would be far more severe than a crying child who can't have the helium balloon at his birthday party, right?
Which is a serious issue. No one's arguing that.
Yeah.
But helium is also used as a cooling medium for the Large Hadron Collider. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And the superconducting magnets in your MRI scanners, NMR spectrometers, and it's also used to keep satellite instruments cool and cool the liquid oxygen and hydrogen that powered the Apollo space vehicles. So anything to do with the space program. And I think they use them in blimps, too, helium.
Okay, well, there you have helium. And that whole African discovery actually is real, and it's a huge huge discovery. And of course, the kids' birthday parties will be saved because of it. A lot of fireworks. I don't know if you live in Herkimer County, but there in Madison County as well, fireworks legal over the weekend, and it's really incredible when you talk about the commerce. And I know it's been somewhat talked about that. Boy, Natick County is going to miss out on the tax dollars and on the revenue. I really have to say, if you are traveling into the valley and to Herkimer County, it seems that every store is selling fireworks. Every convenience store has a big tent even Walmart, big tent in the parking lot, and they're selling all sorts of fireworks. People are coming from out of state to sell here. And it did seem like a lot of money was being transferred. And it sounded it last night. A lot of fireworks going off. Yeah. And, Christine, you said there was a story locally up in the North Country, in northern New York, where there was a pretty bad accident with fireworks.
There were 2 children who were injured. Actually, the Associated Press has dozens of stories this morning of people injured. In New York alone, it looks like there were about 8 people injured just from fireworks. And in at least 2 of the stories, the fireworks were homemade. So I don't know what the level of experience is when you're making your own fireworks,
I think
but probably not a good idea.
Any other time of the year, those are called bombs, and they're illegal. But apparently, for some reason, it's okay to do it during the 4th of July.
Well, I don't think those have been legalized. The other thing
No, they haven't, nor have any of the stuff that's flying through the air. Any of these big ones, even M80s or firecrackers are not legal either.
Also, there was a story out of Syracuse this morning that a family had been, I don't know what type of fireworks they had, but they cleaned up when they were done, and there was a piece, they threw it in the garbage. There was a piece that was not fully out, and it set apparently the outside garbage on fire, went all the way up the side of the house, destroyed the house.
Well, and people have to understand, too, in regards to the legality side of things, so people need to realize that if you don't have the legal fireworks in your vehicle and you get pulled over, I was talking with Mr. Ed from Majestic Fireworks last week, and he said the fine and the penalty for illegally having fireworks that you can't have in Herkimer, Madison County are huge. Like 5 years in prison, $10,000 fine. Serious stuff. And those M80s and quarter sticks, those aren't even considered fireworks anymore. That's actual dynamite.
A guy in Chicago blew his hand off with fireworks on Thursday, and hours later his neighbor's dog found it in her yard. Apparently they tried to reattach it. No word on whether he'll be able to use his hand. The guy's name is Rafat Shijai. I can't pronounce. Here he is talking on the phone in the middle of the clip. The rest of it is the neighbor. Listen into this.
It was the most terrifying scream, and like when you hear something like that something bad happened, and I just knew.
I remember looking my hand, and there's no hand there, no finger, no nothing.
3 hours later, I let my dog out in the yard, and she comes trotting back with something in her mouth, and I realized before picking it up that it was actually part of the man's hand that had flown from across the street into our yard.
Wow. Interesting story. Did you see the one in Central Park where the explosion went off? And it was originally thought, boy, could this be some sort of a terrorist action? Turns out it wasn't. A 19-year-old from Virginia stepped on something explosive in Central Park on Sunday, and it blew his foot off. According to cops, it wasn't a bomb or fireworks. They think it was something homemade, like an experiment. The guy's name is Connor Golden. He was in New York visiting with friends. The clip starts off with the sound of the explosion. which was captured by TV cameras. Is this going to play? Yeah.
It sounded kind of like a cannon went off. Like I thought it was maybe like a 4th of July festivity.
We really don't know. We legitimately do not know.
What did you hear? A really loud explosion, and we don't know where it came from.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know what happened.
The explosion that could have been an experiment with fireworks or homemade explosives. We do not have any evidence of a constructed device or commercial-grade fireworks. At this time, we have no evidence that this is related to terrorism.
We are not finding anything consistent with a constructed IED. This is clearly explosive material, but there's nothing to indicate that this was an explosive device that was placed or put in this area with a specific intent to harm any individual.
That was Mark Torrey from NYPD. So, these explosions and fireworks and all this stuff going off, we worry about terrorism, but in this case, they're saying it wasn't.
Well, fortunately, yeah.
Blew the guy's foot off, though, I got to tell you. Quick break. We'll come right back. Christine has news, top of the hour. Hold tight. It's First News Keeler in the morning, post 4th of July. And it is our Boilermaker week. The Boilermaker, of course, this Sunday. We're coming right back at WIBX.